Portland, 2 wins all year, one of them at Providence Park against this RGV side. Matchup comes your way on Sirius XM FC. Next. You can go. You got time. looking live. It's sunny and very hot South Texas. RGV has struggled at home. They try and turn it around and move within 3 points of the playoff picture tonight. It's the Toros taking on Portland Timbers 2. Hello, everybody. Mike Watts alongside the former Virginia Tech Hokie, Morgan Conklin. When you look at Portland, it's their defense that struggled, very youthful, and they're looking to an outside back in Harold Hansen, who's going to be vital tonight if they're going to come away with 3 points.
Mike, he's a player that just turned 18, the right back for Portland Timbers 2. He's pacey, he's strong. He's a player that head coach Andrew Greger has been extremely impressed with in terms of his development and just growth over this year. Tonight, he's going to have tough matchups against these RGV wingers that like to get in behind, that like to find that space. So he's going to have to be ready for that and be able to stop them and keep them in front of him.
RGV has a plethora of good wingers, and Kyle Murphy's been playing as well as any of them, especially in the month of August.
He leads this team right now with 5 goals, 3 of which have come in the month of August. He's just been on fire. When we spoke with Junior Gonzalez, he said he's really good at reading situations and making unbalancing runs based on what he sees. He likes to get in behind, so he reads what's in front of him and then takes the space.
A look at the starting lineup for Portland Timbers 2. Perhaps the most notable omission is at the forward position.
No William Bujev tonight in the lineup. He's in the 18, so we could see him. He has 23 appearances for this team, leads the team in appearances, goals, minutes, a big part of this team. But for T2, they're looking to win the boxes. That's their goal tonight, and that starts defensively, especially with center back Lamar Batista. They need to use that to then build forward. They like to build out of the back, so it starts with the back line winning their box.
Their back 5 all under the age of 22 years old. For RGV, they make just one change. Ruben Luna's back.
And it's good to see him back in that forward role. He's dynamic, good around frame. But for RGV, their goal is to win the midfield battles, and that starts with Jorginho James. He's in a bit of the destroyer role in that holding mid position, and for him, he's going to try to stop T2 coming forward and then build forward for his attack, especially with Eric Bird and Todd Wharton to work off of him.
For RGV, it's a massive game in their playoff picture hopes. They have yet to win at HEB Park since June 10th, nearly 10 weeks. On the other side, 2 wins all year for Portland Timbers 2, one of them against RGV. Action is next.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
Did you check? Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
HEB Park, and folks, a reminder to you, our thoughts and prayers going out to all those affected by Hurricane Harvey. USL encouraging fans to donate to the American Red Cross, 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text the word Harvey to 90999. to make a donation. Just as fans here were asked to bring 4 cans of food or water in order to get a free ticket of admission to HEB Park. We're glad you've joined us wherever you may be. Welcome to South Texas, where the United Soccer League week number 24 moves on. It's RGV taking on Portland Timbers 2. Mike Watts, Morgan Conklin with you. This is a Timbers 2 side that's won twice all year. They are minus 25 in goal differential, and RGV lost to them at Providence Park earlier this year, so there's no taking this group lightly tonight. James ahead, Bird. James as it's knocked away by the 18-year-old outside back. We talked about in pregame. Jorginho James, the 23-year-old. Hunter. Bypassing Williams, who starts at the forward position without Bijev in the lineup tonight for Timbers 2. All the way back to Borja Angotia, the 25-year-old Spanish goalkeeper for RGV. Up the line for Kasner, and a good opening moment for Harold Hansen at outside back.
Like, that's exactly what we spoke about in the open. RGV wide players trying to get in behind Hansen. TJ Kasner getting behind on a really nice ball from Bilyu with his left foot, but Hansen did a really good job just to hold off the run and get the first touch on the ball. That's what's so key as an outside back. When you know you're going against a team that wants to play the ball in behind, it's so important to get the first touch, but mainly keep the attacker off the path that they want to run onto.
Williams tackling Wharton, who had some choice words coming into the matchup about the Portland game at Providence Park earlier this year. Third minute between Portland and Rio Grande Valley. Hunter, Green trying to overlap. Farfan kicks it out. 18 years of age, homegrown signing to Portland, starting at left back tonight. 32 in Green. Early corner here for Wharton. Steered aside. Bounds out for Murphy. And lob back across. Is it too far for Wharton? It is. It's a goal kick for Portland Timbers 2. And Wade Hamilton, the third-round pick in 2016, who makes start number 7 of the year between the sticks for Timbers 2. Ty Green and Williams colliding, ball pops free. Farfan to throw. Zambrano making his debut with the Timbers organization, 40 in Green. Now Barnby on loan from Leicester City, Premier League. Angotia. Bounces away from Kasner. Hey fans, stay up to date. The latest USL news and information from around the league is on you. You played as a freshman and even more starting assignments as a sophomore when you were at Virginia Tech. What's it like playing with a back line made up of two 18-year-olds on the outside back position, 19 and 22 at center back, and a 22-year-old goalkeeper?
I mean, it's difficult. I think this late in the season, I don't think it's as much of an excuse, but it's still something that this team is dealing with. When we spoke with Andrew Greger, he said that he wants his team to make mistakes trying. He said he doesn't want them to not try things in order to not make mistakes. And I think that's what you have to do with the young team, because that's how you get players comfortable and confident. It's difficult, especially in this league when you're playing against some top names and players with so much experience, but it only makes you better. You only get better by playing game in, game out against tough competition.
Hunter across from Magalhaes. Despite the record, Portland saying on the call we had this morning with Coach Andrew Greger, they want to continue to play. They aren't going to sit in and invite attacks at home or on the road. They're going to continue to develop this very young roster.
And I think that's something that makes sense for them, because they haven't been blown out. They have been in games more than their record shows. So for a team with a lot of young players, when you're trying to get them to play the way that you want, why change that? The only way they're going to get better is if you stay playing the same way, if you continue to put them in the situations of playing good soccer. And that's what they're trying to do. And that's something that sometimes happens with younger players, are mistakes based on that youth.
Attack up the wing, too high for Williams. Headed around, Muhammad giving chase. And line toward midfield where Luna can't possess. Farfan for Portland at the halfway line. Batista. Tuiloma, the New Zealand native out of Christchurch. Zambrano, the give and go, sends it up the wing. Taken out by Justin Bilyeu, a mid-year signing out of New York Red Bulls too. Eighth minute scoreless between Timbers 2, Rio Grande Valley, an area that was largely unscathed from the devastation caused by Hurricane Harvey a couple hundred miles away in both Houston and Corpus Christi, all the way to the border with Louisiana. Junior Gonzalez, first-year head man for this RGV organization. Wilmer Cabrera, the head coach last year, moved on to the Houston Dynamo. And the results have been pretty good for the Dynamo so far. Farfan trying to work off the left-hand side. Bird takes it away for RGV. And play will come back. Deep in the Timbers attacking third.
Kai Green does little things defensively that make him difficult to break down. He's so good 1v1 and he reads the ball very well. And it's hard to beat him. He's fast, so if he does get beaten, he's able to recover and get back. But 1v1, he is so strong. And especially playing on that right side, he likes to get forward when he can, but defensively, he's so strong. And a lot of times you see it in outside backs where they're put in a position on that outside so they can get forward, and maybe their defense needs to be a little bit better. But he's one of those players that really is a full package and is a strong, hard-nosed defender back there.
We had an interesting talk with Junior Gonzalez about Kai Green over the course of this year, about how he's learning to identify numbers in front of him. He's a converted midfielder who played outside back toward the end of his Seton Hall career. Kasner driving into the area. All out towards the byline and kicked away by Cicerone.
And that's one thing that's even more impressive, is he has that attacking mentality, just because that's how a lot of his play has been. But the fact that he's such a strong defender, it's difficult to be a great defender and still be able to get forward. And he's one of those players that can do both.
Luna was dispossessed. It's a lob over the top and a long run out of real estate. Angelita took it before Augustine Williams arrived. You ever play any midfield from the outside back position? They push you up?
Yeah, I did. And it's a position that if you play an outside back and you want them to have an attacking mentality, it's not too difficult of a transition. But like I said, it's difficult to find a defender who is a defender first and then can also attack, because I'll be the first one to say I had more of an attacking mind as a defender.
I was going to leave that up to question. I didn't know where you were going to go with that, truth be told. Hamilton dishes to his right. 0-0 in the 11th minute between Portland and RGV. It's Barmby who sends for Farfan. All over the near touchline for Omar Mohammed, who was close to home at FC Cincinnati last year on a tryout basis, made the team, played nearly 20 games in all competitions, and departed over the offseason for Timbers 2. Haven't heard much from Wilfredo Mejia, the referee tonight. Blew his whistle on the occasion. Ball drops over the top. Bilyeu. This ball gets by Hamilton. Really should have had something there, and bounces by Farfan as well.
Having Bilyeu on that left flank is so dangerous. He likes to get forward. His left foot is so dangerous. The way he hits this ball, it's curling away from the goalkeeper. You can see there, he thinks he can get a touch on it. Hamilton just out of his reach. That's why those curling balls are so difficult when they're hit with pace, because it's difficult to judge. There just wasn't a runner on the other end for RGV, but that's going to be so dangerous if Bilyeu continues to get forward.
An HEB corner kick for RGV. Wharton headed down toward Bilyeu, and that'll skip out of play off of Marco Farfan. Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the United Soccer League. More information at nikesoccer.com. 13th minute, and RGV will, from the far side touchline, try another HEB corner kick as the team's scoreless nearly a quarter of an hour in. Corner sent low. Somehow was untouched all the way to the back post. Karam's free. Kasner touching ahead. Flag up offside against Ruben Luna. 15 yards away from the end line.
I like how RGV's able to keep that ball alive. I don't like that ball all the way back through the center of the field, because RGV players are stepping out with T2 players, just trying to stay onside. It's such a difficult ball as it's coming forward with speed to be able to trap that and get a hold of it. If Eric Bird can pull his run wide a little bit more, it creates space to play a diagonal through ball. He's not exactly a winger, but he's a player that can make that run and can still send in a good ball and give RGV a chance rather than giving it up for a free kick.
It skipped through, and Hunter arriving just in time. Barmby is running the front line for Timbers 2. Foul by Portland, a team that has just one win since April 22nd. Of course, that win came against RGV 3 games ago. Since then, a 3-game losing streak for the Timbers USL affiliate. One that has tremendous history in the United Soccer League going back toward 2000. Twice they've won it all in the regular season, but they never did win the USL Cup final. Tapped ahead by Hansen. Bilyeu up the left-hand wing. Hansen arrives again, the right back for Timbers 2, but bounds down. And James eventually steered back to Magalhaes. Skip pass for Taylor Hunter. Wind whipping with temperatures nearing 100 degrees. The southern border, Rio Grande Valley. Kyle Murphy giving chase. And that got out. It's a bit of an unforced error for Marco Farfan against a more experienced Kyle Murphy.
And he did a really good job of stepping in, but that's something that can come into play only being 18. Rather than just playing that off Murphy, trying to play out of there or shielding the ball once he's gotten the angle on Murphy, trying to play out of there just gives RGV an opportunity. So that can be one of those mistakes just due to age and experience in this league, because Murphy's a big player. He's not going to easily allow T2 to play out from there.
Hansen and Luna separated momentarily. It's an HEB corner kick for Todd Wharton, who's played seemingly every position in the midfield at some point over the last 2 years. Wharton snapped down by Bilyeu, popped in the air. Gets as far as Magalhaes. Touching upfield, Kasner dispossessed. And now the counter is on Omar Mohamed. Mohamed plays the through ball too far for Barnby. In the 16th minute, a leading ball right to the goalkeeper. Remains 0-0.
I love that idea. The ball may have been just a tad too straight, but with the run that was coming in, that's how it had to be played. If it can be curled a little bit away from the goalkeeper, it's more difficult to get to, but I love that idea. Pulling defenders, getting forward, and then the little slip ball in behind.
Kai Green lobs it in, and it's Hunter again. Third round pick in 2015 for the Houston Dynamo. It's Green, met by Mohamed. Kai Green, got by Marco Farfan, and sends it low. Kicked away. The target was Kyle Murphy. Boy, that was a jaw dropper from Kai Green at the outside back position.
Kai Green doing what we know he can do, getting forward, works hard to keep this ball in. A nice little pop over Farfan on the wing. A nice ball right across the 6, exactly where it needs to go. Murphy coming in where he needs to be. T2 just does a nice job of getting the first touch, but that's what makes a player like Kyle Murphy dangerous and why he's been able to score a lot of goals. He's able to time his runs and has help from the wing players sending in good balls.
Ball chipped upfield. Farfan got a touch. Not to talk down about your abilities at outside back, but that was pretty impressive from Kai Green.
And it's not just the touch that's impressive, it's reading the situation and seeing that Farfan is coming towards this ball. Green didn't really have the ability to take a simple touch and get it on the ground at the moment. So it's just seeing what's available and knowing by popping it over, that gave him the best chance to get in behind.
Timbers Academy product, Farfan out of Portland, making his 6th start of the year at the USL level. Has played 6 times in MLS this year as well for the Timbers. 19th minute, scoreless. Portland on the ball. Carried up to Iloma. Lofted over the top, it's Williams. Angotia there first. Former Quinnipiac MAC goalkeeper of the year out of Bilbao in Spain.
And you can already see why, in looking at T2 season, Andrew Greger is saying it doesn't always match up to the scoreline. How many chances Portland has already had and they just haven't fallen, or it's been a touch off, or the timing wasn't there. They create chances, and that is one reason why it's frustrating on their side, because the scorelines and the records just don't match up to the play that they've been putting out on the field.
And when we spoke with Junior Gonzalez, I said, only 2 wins. Is this a trap game? And he says, no, we go out there for 90 minutes and play against them, and how the scoreline ends up is where we are. But he knows as well as anybody, having lost at Providence Park 3 games ago, that Portland can create.
And I think that's exactly what it is. It's not like this team has 2 lucky wins on the season and they've been terrible the rest of it. That's not how it's been. They've been playing good soccer. The results just haven't fallen here or there. They've had chances, haven't converted. It's that type of thing. So by looking on paper, that's an appropriate question to ask, because that's what it looks like. But the play that T2 has brought out just doesn't match that.
Angotia on the ball for Rio Grande Valley. 20 minutes gone between RGV and Timbers 2. Scoreless still. 2 wins this year for Timbers, too, at Sacramento in April. And then against this RGV side that a year ago finished second in the Western Conference as an expansion side. Under Wilmer Cabrera. Pushed ahead by Bird. A collision that knocks the ball free. Comes down to Wharton. Plays up the left-hand wing. Long run. Bilyeu takes it at the byline. Sends service away from Luna. Attack still on through Kasner. He's got the ball away at the byline from Hansen. Continues ahead, and just a goal kick for Portland in the 21st minute.
We spoke about Harold Hansen in the Open and how he was going to have a difficult matchup along with Marco Farfan dealing with these wide players of RGV. Especially for Hansen, it's difficult on that left because he has to go against a player like TJ Kasner who loves going 1v1, who is extremely tricky, can go to his right or his left. But then he also has a player like Justin Bilyeu who can get forward from the outside back position and use his left foot. He wants to be forced wide, but if you force him central, he can play make from there.
Marco Farfan got by Green. He sends the service. It's toward the back post. Defended initially by Bilyeu. Kasner with the hold-up play by Hansen. Kasner continues on. Head to Zambrano. Hey fans, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world. It features some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date by visiting uslsoccer.com. Follow them on Twitter at USL. Tomas Granito. Cross for Batista, the central defender at the halfway line for Portland, the 23rd minute. Batista playing Granito last year reached the USL Cup final with Swope Park Rangers. Played in Champions League, Granito did, with Sporting Kansas City last year. Bilyeu, the header away, who won the USL Cup final against Swope Park with New York Red Bulls too. Luna trying to take advantage. Tuiloma fell down. And Maya lost a cleat over there too.
He hasn't put it back on.
It's just laying there. Eventually the opportunity may present itself. Agalea's a touch wide. Bilyeu. Through the legs of James. Zambrano continues on in his USL debut. Zambrano cutting toward the byline, along it now, off of Bilyeu. He launches it back out, only as far as Hansen for Timbers 2.
Bilyeu's such a strong defender, just 1v1, able to shut that down. So strong.
And there it is. It's a shin guard over there, which might be even worse than losing a shoe. Depends who you ask.
I think that losing a cleat would be much worse.
Hansen trying to get in behind. Agalea is winning the ball. Hansen throwing his foot in. And it's a goal kick to RGV, 24 minutes gone. Depends if you're in a really combative position or not.
But as a defender, would you rather go into a tackle without a cleat?
You're asking the wrong guy.
I know, Mike. If you were to go into a tackle, what would you want to be without?
I'd go get a $1 corn dog at HEB Park is what I would do.
You'd have the ankle guards, the shin pads, not shin guards. You'd wear like shin pads.
I'm the guy in a pickup basketball game who wears like an arm sleeve to keep the shooting elbow warm.
Oh man, I'd want to see that.
No, you don't. Zambrano turning away for Timbers 2. Kasner, can he break free? Contact from behind. Play continues with advantage. It was Muhammad who got in there. James. That's Granito. Couldn't keep it. Now James knocks it off and out. Andrew Greger, leading a team that has struggled mightily this year, Timbers 2. His second year at the helm of the USL franchise, sitting in 15th place in the West. James, Kasner now, trying to go on the ground for Bird. Kasner arrives again. Knocked free from Kyle Murphy. What's amazing about RGV and their struggles to score at times, especially early in the year, is that the vast majority of their attacking threats returned from last year. Jose Escalante, a notable omission, and Charlie Ward leaving the squad mid-season to take a first-team deal. As Mohamed going up against Dangotia, the ball will bounce at the byline and get kicked out. It'll be a corner to Portland Timbers 2 in the 27th minute.
That was a really dangerous ball knocked in. Green left it alone, started to go cover the goal as Dangotia came off his line. The placement of that ball, Mohamed was in behind, getting a touch there. That's so difficult because it forces a goalkeeper to come out, an outside back to listen to his goalkeeper on what they're telling him. But that ball sent in by Barnby was perfectly placed and weighted where it needed to go.
Granito overshot everybody. First corner for Timbers 2, not quite according to plan. The 27th minute. We spoke about the midfield coming into the game. Do you feel like RGV is accomplished their mission in the midfield yet? It almost feels like at times they've been bypassed.
I think Georgino James has established his play throughout this game, especially, I like to call it the destroyer role because he really breaks up any attack that gets past the attacking midfielders or midfielders higher up before it gets to the back line. And he's done that, getting into tackles, making it difficult for Portland to build up. But there hasn't been enough from Morton and Bird consistently.
Farfan lifting it over the top. The diving header attempt by Williams goes unmet. Over the byline, a goal kick. Dangotia.
And talking about the midfield, it's just not tight enough. You see James starting to come over. Taylor Hunter, Kai Green on the back line are waiting for the ball to come to them, but there's no pressure there from anywhere else. Obviously, in playing a 4-3-3 or 4-1, whatever, 4-1-4, whatever you want to call it, there has to be pressure dropping in when the ball's in the midfield, but more on the wings, whether it's an outside back getting forward or one of the higher players dropping back. There has to be communication and there has to be pressure. And I think that's something that's hurting RGV right now, is when T2 gets forward and finds those pockets, no one's there. When we spoke with Andrew Greger, he said he wanted his team, T2, to find those pockets. He wanted them to play in between lines. And that's exactly what they're doing. And it's difficult for RGV to find that pressure.
Tuiloma up the right-hand side. Hansen cross midfield. Bouncing ball out of the reach of Farfan on the switch. "29 minutes played at HEB Park in Edinburgh, Texas, an area not overly affected by Hurricane Harvey. For Portland, they were off on the weekend due to the devastation from Hurricane Harvey, in part a bit worried about how San Antonio would fare. And so that game was postponed and placed in mid-October, right before the playoffs begin. And of course, our thoughts and prayers going out to those affected by Hurricane Harvey as Bird sends it up for Green. Now to play. The USL encouraging fans to donate to the American Red Cross. 1-800-RED-CROSS or text the word Harvey 90999 to make a donation. Bird on the turn. James continues on. Bilyeu fires it low. Maybe looking for the flick on instead over the end line. Goal kick to Timbers 2 at the half-hour mark.
Mike, we've worked a lot of games together, and you know that shots from distance, just to settle for a shot, I'm not a fan of, but I don't mind that look from Bilyeu because he puts that ball in a place that a RGV player can run onto. It's not just a shot that skies over. He puts it in a place where Luna was around the ball, Bird was around the ball, where it can still be dangerous. And even if it takes a deflection from a T2 player, it can still be in an area where RGV players are as well.
James popped it up. Zambrano on the ball now, coming over from the Segunda Division in Spain. Williams, bit pulled out of place, sends it wide. Cicerone trying to break through the back line. Barmby thumbs up. Like the movement, wasn't able to find him though. It's Luna at midfield, waiting for reinforcements on the hold-up play. Hansen for Timbers 2, taking the ball back on the right-hand side. Dropped off 40 yards from net. A deflection from Farfan. Mohammed arrives at the near touchline but couldn't keep it in play. Portland last year missed the playoffs on goal differential. Much of their team, especially the stars of that group, moving on. Nick Beasler with Real Monarchs having a fantastic season for that team that's top of the West, among others. Flag up for offside against RGV on a lob over the back line. Hansen and Zambrano working up the far touchline. Hansen cutting inside, met by Wharton. Zambrano shoved off the ball by Bird. It's Kasner. They widen play out. Looked like they had an option up the left-hand side. Instead, it's Green. Stepping into space by Mohammed. Hold-up play from Luna gets busted up by Batista.
Batista just knocking Luna off his run. That's one thing. You have to be careful as a center back not to push too hard where it causes a foul, but having a forward check to the ball, you have to go with them, and if you can knock them off balance a little bit, it keeps them from getting a clean touch, keeps them from getting to the ball, and obviously it allowed T2 to regain possession.
James lobs it ahead, continuing on. Murphy, contact, no whistle. Hansen back to his feet. A thumbs up for the official, and it's held by the goalkeeper, Wade Hamilton.
Hansen gets inside of Murphy there. Definitely a little handsy. I think Murphy went down extremely easy, especially for his size. I don't think Hansen pulled him enough for that to be called. But Hansen did a nice job in recovery, getting the inside angle on Murphy, and it forces a bit of a battle between those two to try to then get on the end of the ball. But Hansen did a nice job in recovery to make it difficult for Murphy to get there.
Murphy back to his feet, 34th minute, and a chance for everybody to get a quick drink of water. 100 degrees at kickoff for this game in South Texas between Rio Grande Valley and Portland Timbers 2. Hey fans, stay up to date. The latest USL news and information around the league is USL Coast to Coast, Mondays 7 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. And don't forget, SiriusXM FC airs USL games each week. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. An interview with Stephen Short, who's leading the D3 initiative, the league kicking off in 2019 on the SiriusXM app. Junior Gonzalez pointing out, meanwhile, this before the game. And a reminder that our thoughts going out to those affected by Hurricane Harvey. The USL encouraging fans to donate to the American Red Cross 1-800-RED Cross or text the word Harvey 90999 to make a donation. J.J. Watt's U-carrying has reached $7 million. It's incredible.
I continue to see that on Twitter, and I keep retweeting them, and then I look back a couple hours later, and they've already raised it. It is incredible to see all the support that's been given and how people continue to just look after one another. And I think with J.J. Watt, I love when athletes use their platform for good. That's something personally I'm so passionate about, and he's just incredible right now with all that he's doing.
At halftime, we'll show you Junior Gonzalez and his team going to the local food bank in the Rio Grande Valley area, helping to box up canned goods and water to send on to the Houston and Corpus Christi and that area over there. Of course, RGV, the affiliate of the Houston Dynamo, who have been unable to practice this week, with focus in that area going to much larger, more important items. A collision as the ball bounces away from Cicerone and Wharton both.
That's not clean enough for RGV. I think that initial ball in to Taylor Hunter from the goalkeeper Anguita back there is not clean enough. He has a player coming on him strong, and then it forces Hunter to force a ball, and centrally that's not clean. Those mistakes all start from the initial pass. If the initial pass is a better decision or is played in easier to handle, that's all that, none of that happens.
Bilyeu to throw for Rio Grande Valley as he tried to seek out Luna. Comes free to Batista. And now Zambrano in the center circle. 38th minute, scoreless between Rio Grande Valley and Portland Timbers 2. It's Farfan. Back for Lamar. Batista out of Waco, Texas. Waco, 190 miles from Houston. 95 miles to Dallas and a 6-hour drive from HEB Park. Hansen, lob over the back, outside back. And that is out for a corner for Timbers 2. Magalea's going all the way to the line along with Barmby. And Cicerone as well. Barmby off to the corner for Portland Timbers 2 from the far side. On loan to Portland last year, signed in 2017, came from Leicester, has played in 27 games in MLS. It's an in-swinger. Angoltia's got it for RGV.
For T2, I don't understand how no one challenges that ball. You have players that are tall, players that are strong, Batista coming off from the back line who's 6'5". If that ball's anywhere near the goalkeeper, that cannot be a simple catch within his 6-yard box. There has to be pressure on him, or at least a player jumping, trying to get on the end of that, because if he just goes up and holds that easily, there's no pressure on him whatsoever.
Make it difficult.
Yeah, if you have a player who's 6'5", I mean, easily one of the tallest players on the field. Obviously, he can't be everywhere in the box, but get him on the line and at least have him jump to try to maybe block where the ball's going to go. But that's too easy for Anguita for RGV.
RGV trying to attack up the near side line. A good opportunity in the 39th minute. Bird slowing down the ball to a crawl. Slashes service across, bounces down, played to Kasner. Hansen got ahead to it and spins down. Cicerone playing toward Barmby. Hunter attacks from the back line to keep the attack on for RGV in the 40th minute. Hunter continuing on well past the halfway line, and now Bird. Green. It's a tap by Luna. Thought Bird was making a run. Wade Hamilton will pick it up. The goalkeeper's gotten a little less talk this year than Kendall McIntosh, who was signed to a first-team deal but spent most of the year with T2. McIntosh not with the team tonight, but is third in the league so far in saves.
2 of which coming off PKs against RGV in their last meeting. I mean, he was big time for them in that game.
That was a topic of conversation with Junior Gonzalez. This team felt like they should have gotten a better result. In the end, you are what the result says, but they really thought at Providence Park they should have picked up at least a point.
Well, and they're facing a team who's felt that for most of the season, who has played good soccer. You see Portland tonight, they're not playing bad soccer. Obviously, there's still a lot of time left, but in looking at their style of play, you see what they're trying to do. They're trying to build forward, isolate players, find the pockets of space, which they've done so far in this game, in between the midfield line and the back line. That's good soccer. Sometimes it just doesn't fall the way you would like it to, but RGV definitely felt that way in the last matchup, but Portland's been in that situation multiple times this year.
It's a touch from Williams, and now he's gotten by Hunter. Barmby was attacking the space. Mohammed slid away by Kai Green. It's Granito in the 42nd minute. Sending it over Bilyu all the way Don Gotia, who himself has seen less playing time than his counterpart. Tally Brown's had a lot of opportunities this year. And Marco Carducci has come down as well. Came over from Vancouver Whitecaps too last year. Played with the Whitecaps a bit as well. Green has gotten by Mohammed. Granito took it away only momentarily. It's James. And now Kasner dribbling in, nearing the penalty area. Green. Kasner dispossessed. Granito sending it up the line. Williams curling around, enters the penalty area, off to his right foot, strong touch, ball bounces free. Gotia's got it. A bit lucky that Todd Wharton was able to get back and knock that away.
Well, and that all starts with a tough tackle from Granito in his defensive half to regain possession for T2. A nice ball sent in, the touch just gets away from Williams once he's inside the box, but that touch by him central set him up perfectly. He just had a little bit too much weight on it, wasn't able to get around the other side. It has to be cleaner for RGV, especially when they get forward. Kasner finds himself 1v1, coughs the ball up, and then there's no pressure, and it allows T2 to take advantage of a quick counter. So RGV needs to clean up a little bit and make the most of their chances, especially when they get forward.
Bit of contact there. Magalea's defending well. Kasner. Nobody there for RGV as he sends a leading ball up the far touchline. Hamilton. Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. More information at NikeSoccer.com. Mike Watts, Morgan Conklin with you. HEB Park, the site for some midweek United Soccer League action. Rio Grande Valley can move within 3 points of the playoffs, while Timbers 2 going to make a run out of the cellar in the Western Conference. Team that's managed just 2 wins and 9 total points this year through 23 games. And yet, 3 of their last 4 losses have come by 1 singular goal. Bouncing over top of James, who throws down Granito. Bird. James on the turn in the center circle. Steers left to right. And out of the reach of Bird.
James with the ball at his feet, like that is not where he wants to be. That is not when he's at his best. He's at his best when he can win a ball and spray it through.
Played through by Mohammed. Run in behind from Timbers 2 was cut out. And now Bird. Long ball that hops free to Wade Hamilton, the goalkeeper for Timbers 2.
A player like Jorginho James, going back to him, has the ability to really control the midfield because he can defend hard, and attacking wise, he doesn't do anything flashy. He just does what needs to be done. he'll win a tackle and then he'll play the ball where it needs to go. But if T2 can pressure him enough to block off his options and force him to keep the ball at his feet and force him to try to dribble and find space, that's how they can shut him down, is actually allowing him to have the ball but just shutting off his options, because he's not a player that they want to dribble. He's not going to out-dribble, outrun anyone from the central midfield area. So if they can cut off his options and force him to maybe be uncomfortable and have the ball at his feet longer, that's one way they could approach trying to shut him down.
Todd Wharton back to his feet now, the former PDL Young Player of the Year finalist in 2015.
Tough tackle on Wharton, but that's one thing. When you're playing T2, you know they're going to tackle hard. You know they're going to step hard. I don't think he felt the player coming on his back there, but definitely was a tough tackle.
Expert touch by Williams. Williams met by Magalhaes. It ping-pongs around, bounces free on Gotia. I've never quite seen that where it ricochets so cleanly off the defender, back off the attacking player, and free to the goalkeeper.
I don't see why Williams felt the need to play that ball that quickly. He had the ball at his feet. Yes, he had players to take on and was right at the top of the box, but he can beat a player there and maybe have an easier shot than shooting from far out.
Halftime, if you're Andrew Greger, pleased with the performance for Timbers 2 at 0-0?
For the most part, they're playing the soccer that you wanted, doing a great job at finding those pockets in between the RGV midfield and back line, but it has to be cleaner and it has to be more dangerous once you get there.
Junior Gonzalez, happy?
Not their best soccer. They've created opportunities. They need to continue to find their wide players and find it forward. Use Ruben Luna, he's back.
0-0 at halftime. We'll tell you how it all went down when we return at HEB Park in South Texas.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
You know, we're a team and make sure that we show that we have sympathy for the people that have had to evacuate their homes, that have lost their belongings, that are in need of things from the hurricane. And also just to give back. I think it's very important that as young men, as these players are, that they learn how important it is to give in this life.
It's really great to have the Toros here at the food bank. I think it's the first time they've been here. They're doing a tremendous job helping us sort through all the food. And that's just something that's going to be happening a lot. Once we start getting a lot of the donations from HEBs across the valley, we're going to need an army of volunteers to help us sort through the food so we can get it up there to Corpus and Victoria area as soon as possible.
as a club, giving back to the people in need from the hurricane relief. Corpus Christi, Victoria, some of the other cities, Houston especially. We're a team from Houston that some of our own staff and players have had to relocate because of the flooding. So this Wednesday in our match against Portland Timbers 2, if you bring 4 cans, you get a free ticket. And so our goal is, I know our youth academy and other volunteers are going to be loading that food into trucks, and we can do the same as what they're doing here in the food bank to give back.
Halftime at HEB Park, and plenty of fans clearly have taken up RGV on that promise. 4 cans and a free ticket to tonight's action. It's been a good game thus far. We'll show you the highlights when we come back. It's 0-0 at the half.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Week 23 of the 2017 USL regular season was one for the record books. 5 midweek matchups took center stage as the league's total attendance record was shattered. Wednesday night saw the USL surpass the 1.5 million mark in total attendance, pushing past 2016's total attendance in just 6.5 weeks after the league passed the 1 million mark. FC Cincinnati continues to lead the league in average attendance with more than 20,000 fans per game, with Sacramento Republic FC not far behind. But notably this season, the league has more than doubled its number of teams averaging more than 5,000 fans per game, with 9 clubs above that mark. Those 9 teams, which include newcomers Reno 1868 FC, Ottawa Fury FC, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, sit in the top 11 in average attendance nationally outside Major League Soccer. With the season pushing on, the 2 million attendance mark is on the horizon. As the race for the 2017 USL Cup playoffs heats up, the league's fans are not cooling down. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey. She's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Halftime at HEB Park. He's hoping to score. Portland Timbers 2 have allowed 27 goals in the second half of games this year. and the Toro has actually never scored. So he's looking for his first career USL goal. We'll get back to the first half highlights when we return at halftime. Scoreless between RGV and Portland Timbers 2.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Halftime at HEB Park. What a gorgeous facility it is. It's year number 1 for RGV at this new home. It's 0-0 at halftime between Portland and RGV. Mike Watts, Morgan Conklin back with you. Here are the halftime highlights as RGV and Timbers 2 scoreless but not chanceless. Right off the bat, we see Timbers 2 trying to get the ball up this near wing, and Omar Mohammed showing off his pace.
And it would not be the first time that we see Mohammed and Barnby try to connect. They were really good feeding balls to one another, but Mohammed getting forward on that flank, finding the space. Nice little slip ball right under Green's foot, just put a little bit too much on it.
Now we see Green getting by Farfan. That's a jaw dropper, and it was a good defensive play in the end.
And Green just getting past his defender, sends a really nice ball right across the top of the box, exactly where it needs to go. I just love this touch, popping it over. You see Murphy making the run, trying to get to the near post. Defensively just wasn't able to get there in time.
Continuing on later in the first half, tipped over the back line. Target was Williams, taken by Angotia.
And he was the target on a couple of these chances as well. Barnby was very good. Cicerone was really good sending in those balls along with Barnby. You see him here, this long diagonal ball across the back line, slips it in behind Green. Angotia tries to come off his line. The timing isn't exactly there, but Mohammed puts that pressure on and forces him to make a decision and ended up getting T2 a corner out of it.
Barnby's 5th start of the year at the USL level, often with Timbers at the MLS level, wasn't able to connect with Mohammed there. Here's Farfan lifting it over the top, a near diving header for Williams.
And Williams was on the end of a lot of these chances, especially right around frame, being that high forward. He found himself there, but a nice little chip ball in from Farfan. You see him put the texture on it, sending it where it needs to go, just a touch too far.
Here's what's coming up for Portland Timbers 2, these times Central, as Tulsa Real Monarchs will pay a visit, then on the road to Reno, who are in the top 3 right now in the Western Conference. Playoff teams over their next 3. It's going to be tough.
Definitely is not an easy matchup. The good thing, though, is they have a lot of these matches at home. Playing Real Monarchs, Phoenix at home is definitely a plus. Having to go to Reno will be a challenge. But looking at it, there's really no easy schedules left for any teams for the most part, and they definitely have a challenge in front of them.
For RGV, they're 6 points out of a playoff position right now. If they get 3 points tonight, they move into 9th. Here's the schedule coming up for them. At LA Galaxy 2 at 8:30 on September the 3rd, and then Sacramento Republic will pay them a visit along with Reno. Again, you're looking at 4 current playoff teams and a Galaxy team that you have to go on the road to.
And that's a must-win for them. When we spoke with Junior Gonzalez earlier this week, he said their playoffs already started. They have to win every game. It starts tonight, and especially when they face Los Dos.
Notably, they're not in this playoff picture as currently situated. They're at 27 points. They could jump even with Phoenix Rising with a win here tonight. And just 3 points away from Oklahoma City Energy. Real Monarchs are just running away with the West.
I mean, they're so far beyond. But tonight, getting a result, getting 3 points is so important, because then if they can return and then get another result against Los Dos, that can push them up so much. And then they're really in the mix with a couple of those teams with 33 points.
And Portland only 24 points away from playoff position. Here's the Eastern Conference standings. Louisville City tied atop along with Charlotte. They're through as of the current moment, not only with games in hand, but by goal differential. And again, the playoff picture a little bit murky because 6 and 10 are a win apart.
Yeah, I mean, Louisville, Charlotte have just been so fun to watch as of late, and especially seeing them go forward, struggle a little bit, but those two teams have been so fun to watch. But Rochester, I mean, really made a push into that picture. Bethlehem as well, right around the cusp of it. But we have good matchups in both sides, both conferences, especially making a run towards the playoffs. It's always an exciting time, but then really seeing the matchups and seeing the standings, it just kind of brings it to light.
Ruben Luna will come out. Christian Lucatero on at halftime for RGV. In truth, Luna never really made the impact that we were looking for in this game.
And part of that is he's the high forward, so he's alone up there, and he really has to rely on other players to set him up. And RGV had some success early with their wide players, not as much as they would have liked, but there wasn't enough from Todd Wharton and Eric Bird underneath Luna. So I completely agree, not enough from him tonight, but a lot of that, since he's not on the ball all the time, is what he's fed in that central area.
Williams standing next to the ball at midfield for Portland Timbers. 2 gorgeous night in South Texas. Finally, the sun shining over the last day or so over Houston, all the way to Rio Grande Valley, some 3-hour drive away. We're underway in the second half. It's Rio Grande Valley Soccer presented by Popeyes. 46th minute. It's scoreless between Timbers 2 and the Toros. Timbers 2, a 3-game losing streak. Team that's won just once since the end of April. Last year they finished with 5 straight wins and just barely missed out on the playoff picture. All the way up to falling to San Antonio in the last game. Kasner deflected down and bounces free to Hamilton, who makes the stop. It was Bill Tuiloma who made the deflection.
Throughout a couple of RGV's games in the past 6 to 8 weeks, they really come alive in the second half, and especially right out of the locker room. A lot of that has been due to the play from Murphy and TJ Kasner. You see him just getting into the attack, forcing his way through, getting a pretty good shot on frame, obviously a deflection in the way, but they have the ability to really get going in the second half, and that's something that they need.
Service bounces down, shot is up and over from Russell Cicerone. Scored nearly 2 months ago against Orange County and had this ball bounce down to him in the area.
And just as I was saying that, defensively it's not tight enough. You see Kyle Murphy starting to make his way wide. There's no pressure there. The header is missed centrally, and then it just drops within the 18. It has to be tighter defensively for RGV, especially if they're going to get their attack going. You have to back that up with tight defense going into the second half. They need a result, so it has to be tighter all around.
Headed back by Batista. That was clever. All the way to Wade Hamilton, who starts in goal for Portland tonight. Portland just missing the playoffs last year on goal differential. RGV knocking out San Antonio on the final match day of the 2016 season en route to the 2 seed. Falling in one of the goalers in the postseason against Oklahoma City Energy. Kasner trying to get through again on the left-hand side. And it's the right back, Harold Hansen, who kicked it out.
RGV with some good movement. You see the up back through Lucatero to Bird, back to Lucatero, through to Kasner. That's movement. That's difficult to defend. And it forces Hansen to make a recovery run and try to stop that from Kasner.
Headed by Hansen on the throw from Justin Bilyeu. Up the line for Barmby. Was trying to bounce by Jorginho James. Contact, and Barmby's the guilty party, looking around as if he had nothing at all to do with it. 48 minutes gone and scoreless. He didn't play much of a role there, but apparently he played enough. Ivan Magalhaes, that's central defense back to Borjan Angotia. Bird giving chase. Hamilton acting as the pivot for Portland. Up the right-hand side they'll go now. Hansen trying to work with Cicerone. This is good footwork from James. Bilyeu, Bird. Back now, Lucatero. Off into the corner. It's a long run. Collision at the byline. And last touch by Kyle Murphy. It's a goal kick.
I don't know what Junior Gonzalez tells his team at halftime, but they always come out with more energy, more movement. I love the interchanging, the little touch from Bilyeu. I mean, come on, he wants the ball at his left foot. Just a perfect little touch in. The only thing, Murphy's not ready for that ball that comes all the way across. You see him reacting after it's played. If he's switched on there and if he's on the same page with Lucatero in that moment, he's getting on the end of that ball. That's the only thing that caused that breakdown. But everything else from RGV, the movement's good, the build-up's good, the touch from Bilyeu doesn't get much better than that.
Last year, RGV scored 10 more goals in the second half than they did the first. This year, it's 4 more in the second half than they did in the first. It seems like they always bring their best later on. Junior Gonzalez, the motivator. Bounces down to Lucatero, the Houston homegrown, on loan to Rio Grande Valley. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Switching ball from Bird is on point. Murphy trotting in, sends the ball through. It bounced by Hansen, comes free. Bird back to Kasner, edge of the penalty area. Plays it on the ground, breaking through. Contact! And no whistle. Lucatero going down and back to his feet now. Hamilton's got the ball in his midst for Portland.
The movement from RGV is so good. Kasner able to keep that ball. Lucatero looks like he gets tripped up a little bit. Batista on his way back. Looked like he may have gotten in touch. We'd have to see a different angle a little closer to see if he actually got a touch, but no call there. The movement from RGV is so good right now. They're getting players forward. Eric Bird has come alive in the second half. TJ Kasner showing his 1v1 skills that we didn't see enough in that first half.
James shoved from behind by Barmby. And now Hansen took it away. Play will come back. Advantage was played initially. For Lucatero, it's his first appearance in nearly a month's time for RGV. Look at that previous play.
I just can't see from that angle if Batista actually clips him a little bit or if he was just running back and there was no contact whatsoever. It's difficult to see exactly what happened there.
Lucatero slipping through. Bird sliding down. Loma ushered that out in the end. A goal kick to Timbers 2. Portland living a bit dangerously in the second half as RGV continues to swarm with their movement.
And they wanted to really press T2. They wanted to put pressure on their backline, force them to make mistakes, especially if there's a young backline that tends to make just mistakes related to their inexperience. compared to other teams, why not press them higher? And I think that's something that they lacked in the first half. They said they wanted to do that, and we didn't see it. But I think coming out of halftime, that's something that's been much better, is just the pressure.
Slip ball taken away from Granito. Played long on the ground past Bird. Junior Gonzalez trying to will this team towards playoff position. He's very much intent on making sure their belief hasn't faded. That ball cleared by Bilyeu from 8 yards in front of the goal line. Collision at the far touchline. RGV is taking it back. Across halfway. Bird. Murphy will keep it in. He trots ahead. Kasner entering the box. Service all the way towards the back post and all the way over the goalkeeper. Never threatened Wade Hamilton in the least.
And that's something that we saw a little bit more from RGV in the first half, which was getting the build-up, getting towards goal, but just a breakdown, not a good decision. No, there was one runner in the box, TJ Kasner, all the way on the far post. So trying to send that ball from far away all the way to the other side of the goal with one runner in the box and multiple defenders, that's not the best option there. RGV also had Eric Bird, another player getting forward in the attack. If one of those players can just drop back and stop and stand where they are to get the ball off of Murphy and then decide to either play back to him or turn and go directly at goal, that's a better option rather than just trying to cross the ball all the way to the other side of the field to get it to the far post when you only have one runner.
Marco Farfan is back to his feet, went down and got stretched out momentarily for Timbers 2. The wet bulb thermometer is still down on the field in case of a needed hydration break. It's very dry but very hot, so says our intrepid reporter Brian Duval. Temperatures just over 90 degrees. Mike Watts, Morgan Conklin with you tonight. 55th minute, scoreless between RGV and Portland Timbers 2. Kicked away by Hamilton. Play continues on. RGV in possession off the goal kick. James slicing ball up the wing. Up the left, overlapping run for Bilyeu. Kasner dishes off. Bilyeu sends it toward the top of the area. Sliding challenge to keep it away. It's James who hammers it through, and Hamilton plays it with his feet.
What we just saw is what I want to see more of from RGV. They have the movement. They have the energy coming out of half. They have a little bit more from their wide players. TJ Kasner getting forward. But every now and then, I want to see Kai Green. I want to see Justin Bilyeu like he just got forward. They both are players that can attack and be aware when they attack. So you saw Bilyeu get to the corner and then with his left foot strike the ball back across at a diagonal to find a player central. Both wide outside backs have the ability to do that. So as they get more from Kyle Murphy, TJ Kasner, and they like to go central, I want to see more from the outside backs getting wide, getting forward, because they can play make as well.
Williams had checked back for Timbers 2 at midfield, and collision from behind. Magalhaes. And Cicerone reversing for Timbers 2. All the way back to midfield. Chipped over the top. Headed away by Magalhaes. Brought down and carried ahead by Zambrano. It's Hansen. Hansen on the ground off of Magalhaes. Sent up the wing. It's Zambrano again. Slid out only momentarily by Bilyeu. Another throw for Timbers 2, deep in the attacking third in the 57th minute.
Zambrano working hard just to create anywhere in that midfield, moving wide, getting the ball, setting up other players. Definitely a busy worker in that central area.
23-year-old making his debut out of Spain for Timbers 2. Barmby. It's Kasner at midfield off the turnover by Timbers 2. Step by and continuing on, it's Lucatero. Bird, left side of the box, playing it back across. Lucatero didn't get a good touch. Lofts it over the bar from 10 yards away.
He is frustrated with that one because he was such a big part of it from when it started to build up, finding the ball to Bird, and then a great run coming central for the ball back across. Just a miss hit, and that's one that Lucatero, it didn't fall. He has to put it behind him and do the same thing again. If he can get forward and create and continue on with his run, be another number in the box, it just helps out his team.
Marco Farfan will come out. He dealt with what appeared to be a bit of a cramp. They stretched out his leg not too long ago. Kyle Bjornathan will come on, the 4th-round pick for Seattle. Mr. Irrelevant in the Super Draft, 88th overall. So Bjornathan is on in the 59th minute in this scoreless affair. Bounces free. A fan step to date, the latest USL news information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast. Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern, SiriusXM FC, Channel 85. And don't forget, SiriusXM FC airs the USL Game of the Week. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Off of Hansen, cleared by Bilyeu. Reaches Kasner. On the dribble across midfield. Tucking inside is Bird. Kasner continues on. Through for Bird. Sends it across. And a big push from behind from Kyle Murphy. As the defender launched it out of his own 6-yard box. That's newly entered Kyle Bjornathan.
That's a great run from Eric Bird to come central and then pop back out wide. I love the ball across. Kyle Murphy's just late getting there. That's dangerous the way that he hit Bjornathan. It's good to see him okay and up and able to continue. He did a great job of just getting to that ball first. He was able to clear it. Everything else from RGV was great, but once again, Kyle Murphy's late. That's happened a couple times. He just needs to be more aware, or maybe if the ball is going to come across, he needs to start his run a little tighter so he can get there, because he's missed a couple opportunities just from being a little late to the ball.
Williams trying to enter the penalty area on the near side. Magalea is pushing him all the way out. Make that Jorginho James arriving into the corner now to defend Barnby. Kasner took it away. Squirts free. James continuing on. Pressure from behind. Got by Hansen. It's Kasner again. The break is on for RGV. Stepping inside. Kasner, a curler that ricochets well over the top of the 18-yard box and comes free to Muhammad. And Kai Green boots it into the sweet level. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world. It features some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date. The latest league news and information from around the league, USLsoccer.com, or follow them on Twitter at USL. That's where Junior Gonzalez goes for all his news and information.
That's where I go for all mine.
Somewhere the busy scribes, Chris Hockman and Nicholas Murray, typing away. I'd like to think they've moved on from typewriters, but I'm not one to judge. 62nd minute, RGV and Portland scoreless. Wherever you may be typing, wherever you may be watching or listening, glad to have you with us for this midweek USL matchup. Attack on, cutting inside, Cicerone. Slid out by Wharton, got to Muhammad, sent up the left-hand side, slid away again. Muhammad will recover for Timbers 2. Zambrano. Renito. The 18-year-old right back. Got by Kasner. There's the service from Hansen. Sent well over. Muhammad, the opposite touchline, taking over on the far side.
Harold Hansen with that footwork getting forward. Didn't just get by Kasner, blew by him.
Not his first rodeo. Kai Green slips in and knocks it away from Omar Mohammed. The outside back play has been really interesting tonight.
I mean, I love seeing those players get forward, but that was impressive from Hansen.
Kai Green earlier, throwing some skates on Marco Farfan. Hansen along the top of the area. Barnby met by Magalhaes, who lays it off. Barnby, and now up the left-hand side. Bjornathan lofting to the opposite post. Hansen pops it in the air. Gotia pulls it down for RGV with 63 minutes gone, keeping the game scoreless.
Defensively, RGV was pretty organized there, but T2 did a nice job of just really just breaking them down and creating other options.
Barnby quickly forward again for Timbers 2, and taken away by Lucatero. Stretch past Bjornathan in at left back, trotting all the way to the touchline.
I see what they're trying to do there and play Murphy in behind. Right now, I don't think that's the best option. You see how tired he is. He's going against a defender who just came on. It's hot. That's a far run. Murphy is a player who can do better, at least at this point, if the ball is slipped in behind him and he doesn't have to run as far to get there, and if it's closer to goal so he can create more.
Barnby continues to dribble unimpeded, sends it wide. Mohammed circles around corner of the penalty area. Played through. Barnby again sends it across. Knocked down by Ancotia. Gets over to the byline to yank it in before it went out for a corner.
Augustine Williams continues to slip in behind the two center backs whenever the ball gets played in behind. You see him keeping an eye on it. He's in between Bilyeu and Magalhaes there. He just finds his way in between defenders and sits in a hole. RGV's been lucky that his team hasn't found him yet.
Kasner knocked down from behind. Sliding challenge to dispossess Bird for RGV. And Barnby has this bounce up high and off of him for a throw to Rio Grande Valley. Bilyeu wanted to play quickly. The fourth official says not so fast. Hansen is down. We asked how Hansen would handle these very versatile threats on the wings for RGV, and for the most part he's been okay, but that's clearly been the favored wing for RGV to attack tonight.
And it's because it's TJ Kasner on the ball. Kyle Murphy's been the finisher as of late, but TJ Kasner, at least wide, is the creator. He likes to take players on 1v1. He wants the ball at his feet so he can run at defenders. So Hansen has definitely had to play strong tonight. He's had to step higher to Kasner. He's had to defend him and be strong 1v1. He's done a good job for the most part because Kasner's a player that is quick, is pacey, and has the ability to really slice up his defenders. But Hansen, for the most part, has made it difficult for Kasner. He hasn't been able to have as much success as he has in other games.
Meanwhile, the last thing you want to do is need to move both of your outside backs out of a game through substitution. Farfan has already come off. He was getting stretched out on the field 10 minutes ago. And now they're stretching out the opposite outside back, another 18-year-old in Harold Hansen. And so while he's back to his feet, one has to wonder if Timbers 2 are going to have their hand played for them.
And he's been asked to do a lot defensively, like I just said, in terms of containing TJ Kasner, but he's been getting forward a lot, and they've been playing him into the attack. So that's something that he's going to have to be careful of, is just his runs. He may want to go forward, but he also has to know if he goes forward, he might not be able to get back and continue on.
Kasner off the throw as play continues for RGV. Kasner trotting in. Lucatero tried to cut it across. Hamilton throws his palm at the ball at the byline to try and keep it in, and it got out. Batista throwing his fist out in frustration. Meanwhile, trying to get back on now is the outside defender, and Hansen, he'll trot in. It is a HEB corner kick for RGV.
And Portland not completely happy with RGV's decision there. Normally when a player has to go off the field, it's just sportsmanship to either play it back to the other team or play it back to your defense to allow the team to regroup. RGV went exactly to where Hansen had just stepped off the field.
This ball ricochets out. Watch out, James tried to steer it by Barmby, who himself held up play long enough to get Williams out on the ball. Switching ball, Cicerone the target, but he was offside in the 68th minute of a scoreless game in HEB Park at Edinburgh, Texas, between Timbers 2 and RGV FC.
You can see both sides just tired. It's slower. Out of half, RGV had the movement, had the spark. We haven't seen that in the last couple of minutes. It's definitely slowed down. Mainly, it's noticeable in terms of when each side finds the ball in their defensive third. There's no pressure. There's no real threat that they're under from the other team. It's definitely slowed down.
Francisco Pungo is waiting to come on for RGV. He stands with the fourth official, probably on a first-name basis now with Jesus Moya. Bilyeu sent that through for Bird. Sent ahead by Granito. Taken by Hunter, the central defender for RGV. Kasner. Sliding down Bird, got it back to Kasner. And Bird was guilty of a handball. Frustrations boiling over a bit in 90-plus degree heat, even with the sun down. Pungo will come on, and that's enough for Kyle Murphy, who at times in this second half has looked pretty gassed.
We saw a couple things from him early. He was played in behind in the second half and just wasn't there. So I think for RGV, that's two substitutions, two key attacking players that it just wasn't all there from them tonight. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't what they've come to expect from a player like Murphy, a player like Luna, who can really impact and change a game. It just wasn't completely there, wasn't the best performance, but solid still.
Murphy, who played 5 years at Clemson, drew positive praise from Junior Gonzalez, who still sees room for improvement from the winger. Williams has taken it away from Pungo's fresh into the game in orange for RGV. 20 minutes to play plus stoppage. Cicerone, Hansen. Hansen getting behind. Continuing on, Hansen lays it off. Taken by James, center of the penalty area. Bilyeu gets it back from Bird, sends it forward. Lucatero able to bring it down. Throw to Timbers 2.
RGV, I like how they're attacking that space that was just left from Harold Hansen by getting forward, but sending the ball there and just forcing a player into that spot very far from goal doesn't do anything for them because Lucatero was stuck on the sideline, had nowhere to go. If they can find the ball central and then spring a player into that space, one, it buys more time for a player getting forward on the left side, in behind an outside back who's not there. So it buys time, but also it's just a better buildup rather than forcing it into that space. And Lucatero's just stuck on the sideline with his back to the rest of the field.
Cicerone continues on, approaching the 18-yard box. Cicerone approaching the byline. Popped up off of Magalhaes. Pungo and Cicerone go skidding into the ball. Barmby and Cicerone both appealing for a foul that won't come. And a change coming for Timbers 2 in the 72nd. Ornstill will come on. It's enough for Harold Hansen, and indeed, Portland Timbers 2 will replace both outside backs, both 18 years old, in this second half.
Definitely not ideal, not something that you always want to do in terms of replacing outside backs, but in this game, having players with experience that you bring in, I don't think it's the worst thing, especially when you know RGV likes to attack up the wings. They've brought in one player with fresh legs in that position. Obviously, Hansen was having some cramping issues early on. There's still a lot of time left. I think that's a smart decision in this aspect, especially knowing RGV's looking for a result. And T2 is definitely extremely looking for a result. Would love one.
Tap through, come past Batista into Hamilton. The one name we really expected to see but haven't yet for Portland is Villian Bijev. They do have one substitute remaining, and yet Williams as a player doesn't seem like he's close to running out of gas yet. So one wonders if that's the route they'll go. It's Mohammed. Mohammed chipping it ahead off of Hunter. Bounces high off of Mohammed, who's shown a yellow card for an intentional handball at the 73-minute mark. Yeah, that's intentional. It was to stop the counter there.
Yeah, that happened.
But it's better than having to run like 50 yards in 90-degree heat.
That's a very true statement.
You've been there. I haven't. I wouldn't know.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Allows you to jog back rather than sprint back as fast as you can.
Mohammed did score against RGV. It's his lone goal this year. That's his first yellow card in appearance number 19, as many as he had with Cincinnati last year in all competitions. 44 in green. Foul at midfield.
Our center referee, Wilfredo Mejia, I like the fact that he's allowed both sides to play throughout this game, but he's going to have to start having a tighter game, especially knowing the history between these two as the time continues to tick down.
Bird through, looking for Pungo. Hamilton arriving, not missing his shot.
Wade Hamilton doing what he needs to do. Pungo plays the ball into Bird. Bird is so good with those little slip balls. The run continues from Pungo. Hamilton just quick off his line. Exactly what he needed to do there.
Scoreless, quarter of an hour to play at HEB Park between RGV and Timbers 2. Portland has conceded 44 times this year. Bottom 3 in the Western Conference. RGV has not been shut out in their last 7, having been shut out 7 times previous in their opening dozen-plus games. By Ornstill, pressure coming to Hamilton. James, Pungo. Tried to cut backwards. Throw to Portland and put the ball back in play at midfield. Ornstill, who came through the PDL with Timbers U23s, played with Kendall McIntosh at Santa Clara and at that right back spot. Cicerone got by Bilyeu, sends it to the top of the area. Mohammed does a full 360, tries to send it wide. It's well won by Kasner.
Kasner exactly where he needed to be, tucked a little bit more central, tucking inside from that midfield position. That's why he's there. For a ball that's trying to split its way and find a player through. He's just waiting for it.
A throw to Ornstill. As the switching ball from James overshot Pungo. Brought down by Zambrano. To Loma on the turn. Lofted ball with Mohammed, the target. Green and Angoita meeting right at the top of the 18. Angoita cleared it. Slip ball. It's Williams. Williams trying to step by Magalhaes, met by Green, plays it wide. Mohammed reverses. Played through for Barnby now. Near the byline, sends it across. Angoita made the touch away as 3 Timbers players bear down on the net. And now Wharton at midfield. Numbers for RGV. Wide for Bird. Sweeps it up the field. Lucatero at the byline. Tried to slide it back in play. It's an HEB corner for RGV in the 79th minute as the game, for the first time in a while, injected with life.
Going back to the save from Anguita, that touch gets the ball out of the path of 3 Portland players. He touches it away from them, and it sends his team off into a counter, getting Todd Wharton on the ball. It falls right to his feet. He's able to continue on and create a counter.
HEB corner for Todd Wharton and RGV in the 79th minute. Wharton with the far post, too high even for the player named after the avian bird.
One of the frustrating things from this last opportunity from RGV is they get Eric Bird on the ball. They have Lucatero running in behind. Todd Wharton is running as well. TJ Kasner doesn't fill the box. If he can fill the box, James can continue to get forward and be that balancing player. But Kasner needs to be in a more dangerous situation. If he wants to be at the top of the box, that's fine, but he can't just trot central and slowly get forward. He has so much attacking ability and has such a presence when he's in the box. He needs to get there so he can actually be an option rather than just slowly joining the attack.
Second and final meeting between RGV and Timbers 2 this year. Portland took the initial 2-1. Came back on July 29th. Bounces into the center circle. James. Bilyeu, lofted ball over the back line. Kasner at the byline, searching, being pushed away by Ornstill. Wharton, good touch to find Lucatero. Lucatero trying to drive into space. Zambrano couldn't slide it further away. Green sends service across the box. Bird trying to head it back. They're looking for a handball, and indeed, Bird's header went off of his wrist. Ricocheted off into the corner as he gave chase.
That's unfortunate the way that ended for RGV. It wouldn't have mattered as it hit Bird's hand, but he's a player, when that ball comes across, he can send a really good header back across the face of goal into the path of his runners. He's done it multiple times, but he didn't have anyone really even there if he was able to make that play. Nobody was really there filling the box.
Line drive finds Hunter. Update from elsewhere in the USL. In the Eastern Conference, St. Louis and Toronto, a 1-1 draw. Shane Hundal scoring in stoppage time for Toronto. Pick up an important draw. That after their 3-2 win during the week.
They've been getting some results lately.
All of a sudden, DFC2 looking pretty good. Sent in by Cicerone. Diving header out by Green. Cicerone on the ball again for Timbers 2. Crossfield pass over the top of Mohammed. Wharton ran into Zambrano. Ball a bit too far out of his reach anyways.
I mentioned that earlier in the broadcast. Something that both sides have done well, especially the outside backs for Portland, is just knocking RGV players off their path. Zambrano sees the big touch that Wharton takes going forward and just puts his body in between Wharton and the ball, gets there first. It knocks Wharton off where he's going. He gets in the way. You see the frustration on Wharton's face because he wanted to get there, but Zambrano just beat him to the spot.
A throw for Bjornathan out of Seattle University, Sounders Academy, native of the state of Washington. Drafted by Seattle in the 4th round, signed to Timbers too. It was Sounders and Timbers week. Portland Timbers 2 falling to Sounders 2 last week. The rain falling to Haley Rasso's brace for the Thorns, and then a 1-1 draw at the MLS level between Seattle and Portland. Bouncing toward Lucatero. Barmby. James couldn't take it away from Augustine Williams. Magalhaes goes running in hard. Knocks down Granito. Play will come all the way back. Referee reaching for his pocket. And a yellow card to Ivan Magalhaes. It's just his 3rd of the year for the 2nd round pick to Houston last year.
That's one thing that we've seen done well on both sides is tracking runners when they're checking. So when an attacking player from either side checks to the ball and is trying to get at their feet, both sides have done a really good job defensively of going with them and not allowing the players to get the ball at their feet and turn and then go. But the issue with Magalhaes right there is just going in too hard. He has to be careful, especially as there's only a couple of minutes left. These moments become even more important, especially in a pretty good area for Portland. They may be a tad bit far out, but he stayed with his initial defender and then went to go for the 2nd tackle and just went in too hard. And I think that's something that both teams, these players just have to be aware. Going into the final couple minutes, there can't be any silly slip-ups because this is the time when attacking teams can capitalize.
It's a time where defending teams are tired. Barmby. Well, not quite. And fans, our thoughts going out to those affected by Hurricane Harvey in Texas, Louisiana. USL encouraging fans to donate to the American Red Cross, 1-800-RED CROSS, or text the word Harvey to 90999 to make a donation. That ball got out over near touch. It's a throw for Jorginho James, an RGV in the 86th minute. Bilyeu from the left, sending it to the right touchline. Kasner has that deflect off of him and out as Bjornathan gave chase alongside. For Portland, they're on 9 points right now. They're on the road. A draw, most would consider a positive result. RGV, you're sitting 6 points out. You're at home. You're supposed to win this game. In a bit of danger here. Bird, Kasner. Flag was up for offside on the far touchline on that touchback for TJ Kasner.
And usually getting some sort of point is good at home. But like you said, with not many games remaining, RGV trying to make a push for the playoffs, they need points. But they need more than just 1 point. They need 3 points, especially at home. In all games, it's important to get points. And if you're at home, you have to take advantage of that. But especially this late in the season, when you need results, you can't afford to not get 3 points at home.
Two teams they're seeking a home bye are coming to HEB Park over the next 3 weeks, Reno and Sacramento. So it doesn't get easier. Portland has proved a thorn RGV's side this year. Wharton Lucatero enters the area, drives in on Batista, stepping over, sending it back. Kasner deflects off the back of the defender and ricochets all the way back out. It was Tuiloma. And now player down. Timbers 2. James slowly back to his feet as well for RGV. It's Tuiloma who's the hero of the moment in the 88th minute, taking cannon fire to the back.
Lucatero getting forward. He had numbers in the box, which was great to see for RGV. Kasner just lines up and crushes this ball. Tuiloma does a nice job of blocking it, but definitely takes the brunt of that shot from Kasner.
Tuiloma, one of the most interesting prospects on this roster, played in all 3 games at the Confederations Cup for New Zealand against Portugal and Mexico and Russia. That's not a bad summer. Tuiloma, who played with Marseille, the first New Zealander to play in League One in France, and the guy with 20 caps for the national team. On the heels of the announcement today that nearly 20 USL players, former and current, were called up for the international break, including the 2 leading scorers in the league, Dane Kelly, Romario Williams to Jamaica. A couple players from Sacramento called up. Emra Clementa among them, captain who passed 100 caps with his club team last week. 89th minute, still scoreless. Barmby, Cicerone hops away from him. It's a throw to RGV. Magalhaes being brought all the way back to within 10 yards of the penalty spot. There is corner flag on the near touchline. Mohamed, and now Granito. Barmby carries ahead. Cicerone overlapping, now plays him. Cicerone matched one-on-one with Magalhaes. Now for a Timbers 2 throw, 10 seconds before stoppage time. Game careening towards 0-0. Four minutes of stoppage time. Getting by, Barmby fouled from behind. It's a second yellow to Magalhaes. He's sent off in the first minute of stoppage time. Well, you said earlier how costly that yellow card could be, Morgan.
Magalhaes has to pull him down because Taylor Hunter misses this tackle completely. He gets megged and doesn't even try to stay. If Hunter is the one that pulls down Barmby, then that's all avoided. But Hunter misses his tackle. He doesn't do enough to try to make up for it, and Magalhaes is the next player that's forced to step in and make a play there.
Magalhaes, 2 yellow cards all year. He's got 2 tonight, and he's off for at least these final 3+ minutes. Service sent across, headed down right at the goal line, and now it's headed in for Timbers 2. Off the restart at the byline. Tuiloma scores for Timbers 2. And they may have their 3rd win of the season. Their 2nd on the road against an RGV team they've tormented all year long.
This is a heartbreaking goal to give up for RGV. Todd Wharton does a great job getting down to clear it off the line, but Tuiloma is just there, is able to finish with the header. This all starts with a poor failed tackle that then allowed the free kick to happen, that allowed the ball to be played in, that RGV wasn't able to clear.
Goal number 2 for Tuiloma since debuting at the start of August for Timbers 2. What a massive goal it is for Portland. RGV tries to find a late equalizer now. Headed across toward Bird. Contact. Nothing there for Wade Hamilton. Still on. Kasner off the defender. Corner for RGV. In the 3rd minute of stoppage time out of the allotted 4. Bilyeu is getting forward for RGV to help clear space. It's an HEB corner kick for RGV. Kasner throws one arm up. It's a bit of a false start as he steps back away from the ball. The far side official holding him away. Kasner, driven ball. Bilyeu! It's headed into the net. RGV has equalized. It's Kai Green. In the 4th minute of stoppage time, we waited 90 minutes for a goal. And it's 2 in 3 minutes, 1-1.
This service from TJ Kasner was well worth the wait. He struck that ball to the far post. Bilyeu did a great job of connecting with it right over the head of Hamilton. Bilyeu able to connect, bring it back across, and Kai Green just there, able to capitalize. The ending of this game, whew.
Cicerone playing it through for Timbers 2, back heeled into the penalty area and knocked out. RGV down to 10 men. We've had a red card and 2 goals in the current 4-minute allotment of stoppage time, which makes you wonder what's going to happen next. Morgan Conklin in a ready position. PR2. Ball ricochets toward the byline. Goal kick to RGV. Stoppage time is out. Now it's up to the central referee. How much time do 2 goals and a red card buy you? Bird with the captain's armband lifting over the back line. Chested ahead by Pungo. Just over the end line. Out of his reach. Goal kick to Timbers 2. Oh, Portland, they tasted a win. Taste, for now, all they'll get. Driving the ball forward. Angotia's got it. He spins the ball out. Into the 6th minute of stoppage time. Ripped by Timbers 2 back across the halfway line. Played back, it's dangerous, cleared on Gotia. Referee glances at his watch. Foul conceded near touchline at midfield. RGV's gonna have another look in the 6th minute of stoppage time.
Can you imagine if we saw this all game?
There'd be 22 players 6 feet under.
I mean, the intensity that we've seen from both sides in stoppage time has been extremely impressive.
Wharton a cross-field pass. Headed back toward midfield. Full time. 90 minutes scoreless. Both teams with 11 men. RGV has a man sent off. Portland scores the go-ahead goal. RGV equalizes, and it finishes 1-1.
This is one that RGV is going to be extremely happy taking just 1 point from. On the other side of that, the fight from both teams. T2 to continue on to bury that goal going into stoppage time. RGV to be able to respond. That was a good ending on both sides, but one that RGV is going to wish they had 3, but they'll be happy with 1.
RGV coming back in the final moment. They've come back now in 5 of the last 6 games. It's a 1-1 draw. We'll wrap it up when we come back. RGV and Portland finish 1-1.
At Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, we have one goal: advancing the health of the Rio Grande Valley. We're over 700 physicians and 1,200 nurses, researchers, and educators using innovative medicine and the most advanced technology to offer world-class health care here at home. As the only locally owned and operated hospital in South Texas, we are deeply committed to our community and its health. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Health System, here for you for life.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Well, maybe you brought 4 cans to send to Harvey. Donations, maybe you bought a ticket. Either way, it was worth every nickel. Finished as 1-1 between Rio Grande Valley and Portland Timbers 2. Edinburgh, Texas tonight. Mike Watts, Morgan Conklin back with you. It was such a good game. Let's take a look at the highlights and see it all again. There were chances in the first half, but no goals to be found, Morgan.
Yeah, I was wondering if most of our highlights were going to be from the last 6 minutes or so, but early on in the game, T2 getting at the back line of RGV. They did a really good job of forcing defenders to make decisions. Right here, it's just not good enough from RGV. It's not good enough from Taylor Hunter whatsoever. This was at the end of the game. Magalhaes is forced to make a play because Hunter missed the tackle, and it allowed for T2 to capitalize on one of their best opportunities.
So the second yellow comes in the first minute of stoppage time to Magalhaes, and it's great service across, headed down, saved off the line by Wharton, and cashed in by Tuiloma in the second minute of stoppage time.
I mean, just a great job from T2 to stay with the play. They have Mohammed putting pressure on Wharton to force him to clear that out, and then Tuiloma able to finish.
Bilyeu sends it back across off the Kasner corner, and Kai Green puts his face in imminent danger, but heads it in a minute later.
There's really no better way to respond than the way that RGV did. Kasner with a beautiful ball right across Bilyeu, doing what he has to do to keep it in, and Kai Green just getting to the ball, attacking that ball. That's the perfect way to respond, especially with as the clock ticks down. I mean, last couple moments of the game.
Goal number 1 of the year for Kai Green. That may be a season saver for RGV when it's all said and done. It's an important point for RGV. Next game against Tulsa Roughnecks for Timbers 2. Next game on the other side for RGV is an important one as they go on the road to LA Galaxy 2, and at full time, Morgan, this is a massive result for RGV.
Especially after coming off a game where they really would have liked to have 3 points. They get 1 at home. They have to get 3 on the road at LA. When we spoke with Junior Gonzalez, he said his team knows what they need to do. Every game is the playoffs for them. This is like the championship coming up. They have to win there.
A massive game coming up away to Galaxy 2. Meanwhile here, it's a 1-1 draw. So it finishes here 1-1 as 2 goals in stoppage time and a red card as well. Kai Green, the equalizer after Tuiloma scores for Portland Timbers 2. For producer Brian Walls, director Scott Ferguson, Edo Sehol, Morgan Conklin, the analyst, Mike Watts saying so long from Rio Grande Valley. It finishes 1-1. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.